I do not consider this the United States, and I don't give a shit what anybody says. This is our land. We did not cross no borders. This was promised to us.
Right.
This is our land. So by reparations, we need our land back. You can go now. You know. So if anybody's gonna speak up about that, though, that would be a big part of our reparations. Not just money, give us money, and then what are you gonna do? Spend it, and then what are you gonna have left? That was part of their agreement when they made all these agreements with indigenous tribes as well as the North American Indians, which aren't separate from us. They're the same. They said they offered them money, minuscule amounts of money for their land, and they were conned into doing these things, bro. And they turned us against each other. They made us worship all their shit. They cut us. Like I said, they used to cut off our piochlis, our warrior braids. They put us into their indoctrinational system of teaching us these things that we're going to consume our spirit and consume our lives, bro, such as our dietary law that they told us milk is good for your body and all this, and you got to learn this, and you have to learn our language. You got to learn Spanish. You got to worship these idols. You have to do this. And they robbed us of our prayer. They robbed us of our dance. They robbed us of our history. They robbed us of our complexion, of everything, bro. You know, so reparations should come with speaking about getting our land back.
Mama, please! Stop shutting, please! I'm your daddy, you ain't going. No, yes, I am! Shut up! Please! 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 No!
Oh, okay, Chief. Oh.
I'm not gonna hold you. I don't feel bad for Shaboozey at all. If you've ever seen one of his music videos, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And he's not Black American. And his stage name literally comes from his non-Black friends refusing to pronounce his Nigerian name correctly. Tokens get spent. He needed to learn a lesson. Hopefully he changed his way.
Another one. Good for you. Don't win anything. Yes. You mean to tell me your name, eh? You are so unproud of your name that white men were calling you Shaboozey, and you said, wow, what a great name. Your mom and your dad, they gave you Chibueze, eh? Chibueze, they gave you Chibueze, and you now said, oh, let me not use this Chibueze. I prefer the name the white man gave me. Let me use this name, and this name will take me to the turn. Good for you. I'll be your number one hater since I realized your name was Chibueze, and you now want to give yourself Shaboozey. God, I pray don't win anything till you change your name back to Chibueze.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
And the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. Oh Lord, my strength, my Redeemer. Let him go in peace.
Right there, yeah.
Everybody begin to pray. Come on, stretch your hands this way. Father, in the name of Jesus, we speak life over the man of God right now. Devil, you are a liar. We plead the blood of Jesus.
I like when you like this, Daddy. Daddy, I like when you scrambling and scraping.
You guys are going to be so pissed off
when you realize what I sent last night. What is this? Someone tell me what this is. That's because no one opened my freaking email. Do you know what's over here? Your exam. With the questions answered. All I did was ask your lecturer the exact questions that were going to be on your exam. What did you get on your exam? The average was a 71. The fact that I know you're all gonna fail had to send you the literal exam.
If you are a descendant of immigrants who have come to the United States since the 1960s, I want you to take a look at this picture and keep this in mind if you ever have the question, or if you hear others have the question about, well, my parents came to this country, my grandparents, my great-grandparents came to this country with nothing, not speaking English, not knowing anyone, and they were able to make a life for themselves. Why can't Black Americans seem to do the same? So here's some homework for those of you who have that question, or if you hear others who have this question, take some time and look through Google to see what all of these things are. What is chattel slavery, specifically chattel slavery? You might have heard of Jim Crow. You probably haven't heard of black codes. You probably haven't heard of some major racial massacres against Black folks in the United States and descendants of enslaved people. Maybe you have heard of redlining, but maybe you don't know about how the war on drugs is very much a racial issue. This is going to give anyone with these kinds of questions a really good sense as to just a sample of some of the things that Black Americans have had to face in this country that is very specific to their racialized experience, that folks who are immigrants or children of immigrants, grandchildren of immigrants who have come since the 1960s, that we have not had to deal with and our parents and grandparents did not have to deal with.
Just remembering the time that white women were so lazy they couldn't be to do their own housework. So instead of them letting Black women have the same luxury of being able to stay home and care for our families as we hadn't been able to do for at least a couple 300, 400 years before this point, they made laws. They had their men make laws and legislation to force us to work because, again, their men were also too insecure to contend with the idea that Black men would ever pull in the same amount of money as them or be just as valued for the labor that they were contributing to the workforce. That's right. As with most instances, when left to our own devices, Black people actually found ways to thrive, and we didn't have to be forced into servitude in order to desire to work. Many Black men were entering the military for the means of trying to integrate into society, try to contribute back to this country, even though the country had given nothing to them, trying to make money to care for their families and maybe gain a foothold in the world after being born a generation outside of forced servitude, and some of them even experienced slavery firsthand. They didn't have to be forced. They actually wanted to. They signed up for the military, were trying to fight for their country and provide for their wives and children back home. And because the government was actually allowing this and, giving them a little bit of money, because they were giving them an allowance that was going back home to their wives, the Black women back home now had enough money to be able to quit these harsh domestic roles in other women's homes and take care of our own families and start building our own home. Well, the disgruntled Wahite people couldn't have that because that would mean leveling the playing field. That would mean that Black folks would have a fighting chance to actually start to gain some leverage in society and, start rebuilding or building for the first time our own communities and, being self-sufficient. Which looked a little bit too much like equality to them. That was a little too much humanity for these beasts of burden. So if you see here, basically it says, and I gotta get close, y'all, because y'all know I can't see. But basically it says, Negro women to be put to work, a city ordinance will be passed requiring them to be regularly employed. That is because since these women were now getting allowances from their husbands' hard work and labor in the military, they were now able to focus on themselves and focus on their own families. So for the first time, Black women had the luxury of choice and being able to choose to do for themselves. And they did not, obviously, want to spend 16 plus hours in some other motherfucker's house taking care of them. They were choosing to stay home and take care of their own homes. So they had the audacity, black women had the audacity for the first time in forever to actually say, no, thank you. I actually don't want to work for a half a penny every 24 hours. I'm going to stay home and take care of myself and my kids with the money my man is making. So not only were these women exercising autonomy for the first time in ever, but they were actually able to do what the YT women were doing. And not only that, YT people had to do their own work for the first time. So what did these Wahite women do? These Wahite men and women, but mostly the women do? They complained so much that they forced the government to force black women to get back in their houses, their homes that they should have been caring for, and cook and clean. And it's crazy because if history had taught them anything, it is that black women in proximity to YT men means that those YT men are going to take advantage of those black women. So you were literally imagine being so lazy that you would rather, I'm sorry, I had to gather my thoughts because this is incomprehensible to me, but I also have to remember that a lot of these women didn't even like their own husbands, so I guess they figure the less I have to do for him, the better. But imagine being so lazy that not only are you not willing to clean and care for your own house and children, you are willing to allow your husband to cheat so you can have the luxury of continuing to not care for your own household. Because let's keep it 100%. Most of the time, the black women that were entering these households as domestic workers were also mistresses. Or if they weren't mistresses, they were being assaulted and essayed on a regular basis. Because these lustful monsters were preying not only on their labor, but on the proximity to their subservient bodies and felt like they were owed access to these black women. So yes, more often than not, these husbands, fathers, brothers, uncles, etc. that y'all were forcing black women in proximity to were also trying to screw us. Because you don't want to do your own housework, bitch. Like, what?
Do you know that Black America said Cadillac in 1934? Cadillac wouldn't even exist today had it not been for Black America. For exactly how they did. First, you have to understand Henry Ford had 3 car companies. First was a complete failure, sold the assets. He had a second car company which failed, and a man named Henry Leland bought it and turned it patent. And then Henry had a third company we know as Ford Motor Company. Henry didn't really do the work, hired some brothers, and they tried to cut the brothers out. Those brothers started a car company named Dodge. So I want you to understand how incestuous this is. So Henry Leland started Cadillac. GM bought it in 1950 from him. So now General Motors has one of the top luxury brands in America. Well, the Great Depression hit in 1928. Nobody had money, right? You don't have auto loans. They did not exist back then. So if you couldn't pay tax their car, you weren't getting it, and banks failed, nobody had money. So Cadillac lost 85% of their sales in 5 years. They were literally in the board meeting to shut Cadillac down with their service manager nationwide. I think I get something. It's like, whatever, how? Because we don't sell to anybody for white. The Black Americans in the South, the White House, $300 cash over and above the price of the car so they can drive. The elite, the judges, the attorneys, the entertainers, got bored. And Cadillac's like, what do we got to lose? So in 1934, they opened it up, the first car company ever that had integrated. And Black Americans bought so many Cadillacs in 1934, sold up 70%. Now I want you to ask yourself, this is a Great Depression. Nobody has money. There's friend money. Take a look here. Huh? How? They couldn't get their money in banks. And all the banks failed. All the white people lost their money. The law of unintended consequences kept Black America from being harmed by the Great Depression like everybody else, believe it or not. And I talked to a gentleman who said, the only reason my granddad said he knew it was a Great Depression is because he saw a white man get out of his track. Oh, I was like, wow. So, in doing this, it turned Cadillac around. Cadillac became the first auto manufacturer to hire Black Americans, so the design and style team, not just the. So Cadillac came with the first integrated brands, and a lot of times we have stereotypes about Black America loves Cadillac. How you know why? Let's see the damn call.
So this woman said, so I was supposed to go on a first date today with this guy, but I told him I needed my nails done. He responded and stated, okay, call me when you're done. I gave this man some time to respond the correct way, and he never did. So I called him and told him, as a man, you're supposed to be asking for my Cash App to make sure my nails are done for a date you asked me on. I blocked dude after that. It's sad, AF. Us women have to tell y'all how to be men. I just want to state, at no point in time in history was this ever a part of being a man or being a guy. Normally, what would get done or take place was that if there was going to be a date, both parties would do what it is that they need to do in order to get ready for that date. Never at a point in time in history was it, okay, I'm about to sit up there and give her $2,000 to $3,000 or whatever money it is that women need in order to get hair, nails, get clothes, and all of this stuff. And we're talking about a date. She didn't state that her and this guy were in a relationship. She didn't state that they were engaged. She didn't state that they were married. She said that this was a date, which is crazy. And again, this is a first date. Why would any guy just simply throw a woman $200 to get her nails done? And then on top of that, when women normally want to go out, they want to go to these lavish 4 to 5 star restaurants. So that's probably what, another $300, $400, $500, $600. And that's not even mentioning what it's going to be per plate or what even per order is going to look like. Yeah, this just further proves that a lot of women out here are delusional. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I stated in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.